Alright, welcome back to the brand split from day one. This is our first pay-per-view. We're only a week in, but it's pay-per-view time because I didn't want to do the draft week 1 of July, but I didn't want to start the series before the draft, so it's already pay-per-view time. That's great. If you saw the match card video, if you skipped it, that's fine, but the match card video had a kind of crucial piece of information that I'm just going to say right now because it's not that big of a deal. I calculated wrong and Roman Reigns is not back yet. He is still suspended. So if you guys are using this mod, the Real World Chronicles Redux from July of 2016, make sure you edit it so Roman Reigns is back by this day, because this is the equivalent of when Battleground would have been, and he was on Battleground. So I didn't know that, so I'm going to have to book around it, and Roman has been removed from the main event, and the main event will just be another edition of Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. Those two have gone back and forth a bunch of times. I actually forgot about their whole feud. I believe it was 2015 where they did that whole thing where Dean was like so close to winning the title, but stuff just kept happening, like him and Seth both won the match, the ladder match at Money in the Bank, but he let go of the belt first, and Bray Wyatt interfered in a Hell in a Cell match. So, and then that whole feud happened, and Dean was shied away from Seth, and now they're back and clashing together. So this might be the final chapter for those two for a while. So we have 2 chapters being written. Their final 2 books that have. Okay, how am I supposed to phrase this? 2 books that are having their final chapters written tonight in Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I don't really have anything else to say. Let's just get into it. And we open the show just with, the hype package, and the main people featured in the hype package are Seth, our Dean, Darren Young and Baron Corbin are here. Chris Jericho gets a spot in it. Bayley gets a major spot in it. Sasha and Charlotte. Those are really the main people that are getting featured in this just intro. And we're just gonna go straight into the first match. It's the Crush America tour. It is Bo Dallas taking on Rusev. And even though he really, really believed in himself, Rusev was just able to edge over Bo Dallas and retain the United States Championship. Bo Dallas had a terrible performance because he is not over at all, but Rusev did very well for himself. Alright, weird cut there because my other dog, Theo, say hi to him. He wouldn't shut up. I don't know what he was yelling at, so it's fucking annoying. Even though I'm all the way upstairs in a room completely on the opposite house of them, they're the loudest dogs in the fucking world. So yeah, I don't know where I was at. Bo Dallas lost. Following that, I've decided to start writing out my promos because I've edited these videos, and holy shit, is my promo game somehow gotten even worse. So Steph and Shane are in their office in the back when the chairman and their father, Vince McMahon, walks in. He says, "I've noticed that you two only drafted 2 women for your brand. And if I can be honest, I didn't expect this. My original plan for the women's division was to have a women's title on Raw and another one on SmackDown. But it doesn't look like that's too achievable after only you drafting 2 women. Since you did this to yourself, I can't exactly just hand you superstars over from SmackDown. So Raw won't be getting a women's title, and instead will be receiving a new title to be named later." As Vince walks off, the so-called leader of the Women's Revolution, Stephanie McMahon, is completely embarrassed, and she is going to be the one that has to break the news to Nikki Bella and Alicia Fox. So, someone in the comments asked if there would be a women's title on Raw. No, this is the kayfabe reason. The shoot reason is that we just don't have enough women to have 2 titles. Our women's division is not deep enough for that. So, In the future, I 100% plan to have a Raw Women's title and a SmackDown Women's title. But as of right now, the women's division in 2016 in the Fed is just not good enough for it. I don't know. Well, in TEW it's not, but in the real world, it can work. But it's not, I don't think I could do it right. Following that, we have the rubber match between Baron Corbin and Darren Young. Last time these two had a match, The Miz screwed over Darren Young. And Darren Young wanted this match to prove that he could beat Baron Corbin, and he does. No interference, fully clean match. Darren Young does best Baron Corbin. So we will see where this goes from here. Following that, we have our next batch of Cruiserweight Classic announcements. We have 3 more shows where people will be announced, and they will all be in batches of 6 from now on. So, going in order, there are 4 people that were eventually signed by WWE who were not in the Cruiserweight Classic, and then the rest of them were not at all. So, it's going to get really good, really surprising stuff, and I gave some of these people those shitty WWE names that everybody loves. So, that's going to be great. My only rule is that if somebody went to the Fed in real life and used a specific name, I have to use that name. So that's going to come in later. Each person is using their 25 seconds to explain who they are, and if they got their name changed, what's the gimmick. So first person announced tonight is the bro, Matt Riddle, coming to WWE. He's going to be a part of that Cruiserweight Classic. Next guy, formerly known as Shane Strickland, now known as Isaiah Swerve Scott. Third guy on this list, we have Aleister Black, a man that everybody seems to think should be higher on the card in real life, including me. But he will be a part of this Cruiserweight Classic. And the final guy that was eventually moved or came to WWE in real life, even though he wasn't in the Cruiserweight Classic, the final guy is Roderick Strong. We have 2 more guys, and these 2 guys, like I said, probably the 5th time in this one segment because I can't keep my thoughts straight, have never been to WWE. And the first guy, he goes under the name of Bollywood Aman Samir. He's hailing from India. He is a Bollywood superstar, quote-unquote. We don't have a very big Indian market, so we can get away with that. But this man, Aman Samir, was formerly known as Sanjay Dutt. Sanjay Dutt will be a part of the Cruiserweight Classic. And the final man to be a part of our Cruiserweight Classic, he's not getting too big of a name change, but he is getting a name change regardless. The son of Fit Finlay, David Finlay, hailing from Germany, believe it or not. I looked it up. That's where he's from. Very surprising. That shocked me. I thought they were Irish, but what the fuck do I know? So that's everyone. Now you should be seeing this screen again. Time for the gimmick changes. Aleister Black is using a sadist gimmick. Satanist. Oh, I spelled it. Well, whatever. He's using the gimmick. It got poor, but it's very marketable. Oh no, it's very marketable. This is a good gimmick, even though the rating's poor. Aman Samir, famous Bollywood actor. He can't be a babyface, which is fine. He wasn't going to be. Gives a large penalty to microphone skill. I don't think his microphone skill was too big to begin with, so that's not a big deal. It got an initial rating of great. It's likely to rise. That's good. Get large boost to psychology. I like that. David Finlay, old school face. Losses do not hurt momentum. Initial rating of poor, which kind of stinks, but whatever. Matt Riddle, legitimate athlete, got an initial rating of great. He can't lose to comedy. Oh, being used in lengthy bouts. That's pain. That sucks. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that is terrible. I do not want that. And penalized for comedy bouts, even though he's funny. This game clearly does not know who Matt Riddle is. Roderick Strong. He is going to be the Iceman, Roderick Strong. Not like Chili McFree's Iceman, but more of like Chuck Liddell Iceman. Like, he doesn't say much. He just uses his fucking brute force to take you out. And Isaiah Swerve Scott somehow got injured on the indie scene, so his gimmick isn't here. That's why he's not on the screen, but he did get announced, so he's still in it. Following that is the blow-off to this very short feud between Natalya and Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch puts on the disarmer after about almost 15 minutes. Decent match for these two. Did about as well as it could when it's face versus face, so you love to see it. Following that, we're preparing to go into the first of 2 3v3s on this show. And Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy are doing their standard entrance while Cena is trailing behind. You know, their standard entrance promo where it's, I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud, and this right here is Big Cass, he's 7 foot tall. But in this entrance, Enzo's decided to add on, and this right here is John Cena, and he's the greatest of all time, and you can't teach that. Calling John Cena the GOAT. He continues to talk since he's still got his microphone on hand. Tonight here on Battleground, we're going to make the club's faces look like a war zone. How you doing? I shit on Enzo a lot, but he's probably the only person that can make these promos not sound fucking stupid. Like, it still kind of sounded goofy, but he still made it work, even though I don't like him as a performer. I will give him credit there. AJ really think he got a good bodyguard with Luke Gallows, also known as the Discount Big Cass. How you doing? It'd be in the club's best interest to go back to the land of the rising sun because they ain't cut out to fight in the WWE. How you doing? And after that line, the club ran down furious and get a head start, jumping Enzo and Cass before the bell rings. I really could not do those promos justice. That's I don't know how the fuck he actually got away with getting that over. And in this match, it's decently long. It's 15 minutes, or it was supposed to be. It didn't quite get there. And it ended with John Cena submitting... damn it. I must have forgot. Okay, let's just pretend he submitted AJ Styles with the SWF. Did not mean... I thought I put it for AJ Styles to lose, so that's my bad. But John Cena beats AJ Styles in this 3v3, and the faces win tonight on Battleground. John Cena and AJ carrying this match because they are both good wrestlers and over. Seth walks up to Stephanie McMahon and The Big Show and promptly tells the two, Steph, I don't know what you're planning for the main event, but this beef between me and Dean goes way back, and the last thing I want is for you two to mess this up. You better stay out of that match or else I'm done working with you. With an absolutely stunned look on her face, Stephanie begins to beg Seth Rollins to let her get involved. Please, Seth, Raw is already down a women's championship that we were supposed to get. Please do not make it so we have 2 holes to fill on this show. 2 holes as in 2 titles that they just don't have. They're down 2 titles. Seth does not care about Stephanie's problem and is firm on a no interference match. We then go into our second 3v3 of the night. Wyatt family takes on the New Day, and this is a close match. The match doesn't involve Xavier Woods for most of it. He's still scared, even though he, accepted the challenge, I should say. He does not get in the match, and it's not entirely because he doesn't want to. His partners, Kofi and Big E, aren't too thrilled with him trying to rely on him. And the finish comes when Kofi is forced to tag in Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods runs in, Bray Wyatt's in the ring, he does his back crawl. Xavier Woods gets so scared he falls on his ass. Bray Wyatt hits the Sister Abigail and picks up the victory over a scared shitless Xavier Woods. We then go straight into our tag team match between Sasha Banks and Bayley and Dana Brooke and Charlotte Flair. This is Bayley's debut on the main roster, getting a good 60. That is great for a debut. I love to see that. They showed excellent chemistry. And Bayley was white hot in her debut. White hot. She was on fire. Her offense was hitting on all forces. Her and Banks' offense was hitting on all forces. Dana Brooke and Charlotte Flair didn't really know how to prepare for this kind of offense from Bayley that they've never seen before. And Bayley was able to pin Charlotte Flair after a Bayley to belly suplex, pick up the victory. Thanks, Mr. Muffler outside. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but this dude with a loud ass muffler just fucking driving like an asshole. That's weird. I guess my text didn't show up for this, which sucks. Okay, so after receiving the news that Raw will not have a women's championship, Shane McMahon is letting Stephanie deal with that, and what he's going to be dealing on is figuring out who in the hell was the one that ran over Roman Reigns, and everybody's saying it's Seth. Even he thought it was Seth, but Seth has an alibi for that night. It couldn't be Seth. So Detective Shane McMahon is on the case, and he will be figuring out who was behind the Roman Reigns attack that took him out for this pay-per-view. We are then treated to an insane match between these two, because of course it was. Cesaro and Chris Jericho go back and forth for about 19 minutes, and it all ends after Cesaro looks to have the victory in the bag. He hits the giant swing, but on the giant swing, Jericho does like a floppy Shawn Michaels roll and actually knocks the ref out of the ring somehow. And while the ref is knocked out of the ring, the Big Show runs down, hits Cesaro with a knockout punch, wakes up the ref. Chris Jericho hits a code breaker. Cesaro loses, and Chris Jericho joins Stephanie McMahon and the Big Show, and presumably Seth Rollins. Big swerve. Yeah, whatever. Not too much of a big swerve. I really hope my text for the next angle shows up for after this match, and we are treated to a match that did not do as well as I thought it would. Let me see the dirt sheet. What happened here? Lack of heat, low heat, Kevin Owens' awful gimmick. Okay. Well, these two men did both have insane performances, and of course they did, because it's Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. It's Kevin Steen versus El Generico. It doesn't matter which way you spin it, this match is going to be fucking awesome. And after 24 or 23 and a half minutes of pure epic wrestling, Sami Zayn is able to beat Kevin Owens with a haluva kick. Sami Zayn stands on top at the end of this feud after everything. After Kevin Owens betrays him in NXT, after returning in a Royal Rumble, after months and months of these two being at each other's necks on NXT and the main roster, it's all over as Sami Zayn picks up the victory, and these two will be separated for quite some time because of the brand split. But after the brutal match between these two men, Sami looks as if he's about to leave when he turns back to look at Owens, who's sitting in the corner. Sami Zayn turns back, headed right for Owens, but instead of inflicting pain, he lifts Owens up until he's standing, but still leaning in the corner. Realizing that this might be the last time in a while that he sees Kevin, he gives his former friend one giant hug. Kevin returns the favor, and the two embrace in their own modern-day sort of curtain call. But after the hug, Sami gives Owens one final haluva kick before walking off. Kind of a bittersweet victory for Kevin Owens there. Just a nice little curtain call that they got to do that was totally not a curtain call because I scripted it. But we're going to call it that because it sounds cool. And now it is time for our main event of the evening. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose. Whoever wins, that brand will get to hold that world championship on their show. And I think we all know who's going to win, so I won't waste your time. In an exceptional match, 96, fuck yeah. Dean Ambrose defeated Seth Rollins by pinfall with a Dirty Deeds. Dean Ambrose makes defense number 1 of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, even if Roman was in this match, Dean was still probably going to win. He just won the title at the last pay-per-view. It'd be kind of dumb, in my opinion, to take the title off of him. But an incredible match by these two. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Love that. Love that. And after the match, Daniel Bryan and a bunch of the SmackDown baby faces, Finn Balor, Apollo Crews, both the Usos. This is what I was talking about. I can't find good quality images from them with the face paint. And Kalisto, they all run down and celebrate with Dean Ambrose as SmackDown will be holding the WWE Championship. And Seth Rollins is out on the floor, outside, with no friends, no championship, not even Stephanie by his side. Because even though that's what he asked for, but it's a powerful message, damn it. But we close the show like we did in Battleground in real life, with Dean Ambrose being hoisted by the SmackDown talent as we go and fade to black. 93 for our pay-per-view. Good pay-per-view. I really enjoyed that. That was a fun pay-per-view to book, even though it was only a week in, and some of the feuds seemed like they were only a week in advance. I explained why it felt like in the last episode, but I got nothing much else to say. I guess we're gonna make some speeches. Dean Ambrose, I feel, deserves a speech. Seth Rollins deserves a speech. Let's give it to Jericho. He had the better rating in that match. We'll give him a hug and then just compliment him on his great performance. They all seem pleased. So that is going to do it for this episode of the brand split from day one. Battleground 2016. I really hope you all enjoyed. I enjoyed booking it. Let's see if there's any... Mark, the Briscoes are the World Tag Champs. That's something. No real news. So that's going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys for episode 4, which will be the first Raw with exclusive Raw talent. See you there.